Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home. We'll talk about Huda. We'll talk about our way. Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home.
Assalamu alaikum, or should I say, Strasfutier, you guys. Welcome to another edition of Ramadan's Pulse. We're having a lot of fun in this program. We're taking you guys all around this world, and it's been great. But before we go any further with this special and exciting episode, I want to take a moment to share with you one of our family members. You guys, as you know, Huda TV is truly one family member, and our dear friend and colleague and boss, Dr. Osama Fadl's mother, recently passed away 2 days ago. So we would like to extend our condolences to him and his entire family, and we would like to ask all of you guys to make dua for him and pray for his family to get through this difficult time. Brother, we are with you. We are sorry for your loss. Now let's get into the program, you guys. This program is going to be fun. We're taking you around this globe. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you our phone number. Give us a call at 002-0238-555, 248 or 9. That's 002-0238-555, 248 or 249. Please give me a call and tell me about Ramadan in your country, because I want to hear all about it. It doesn't have to be the country that we're going to be speaking about today. It could be any country around the globe. Of course, give me an email at pulse@huda.tv, because I email you. I respond to your emails directly, and I look forward to reading them. It's pulse@huda.tv. I will respond to you personally, inshallah. Of course, we have Facebook as well. You guys, we have so many millions of viewers, but we only have 50,000 fans on Facebook. So we want you guys to get out there and support our Facebook pages and support all the Facebook pages for all the shows. The Straight Path with Osama Shami, Let's Talk with Malik. All the shows that have Facebook pages, please support those pages. Of course, we have Skype as well, Huda_TV, Huda_TV, and you can participate in this program now live as long as you can give us a call on Skype and you can get that video call working. So I'm waiting for your call, and I'm waiting for your emails, your posts, and your suggestions, and your Skype calls as well. All right, you guys, let me tell you a little bit about the country that we're going to today. This country, first of all, it's the biggest country on this globe. That's right, it's the biggest country on this globe. The second thing I want to tell you, it's famous for Sputnik. Sputnik was the first satellite launched into outer space, way before the Americans even went to the moon, supposedly. Sputnik was the first satellite launched into outer space. They're famous for cosmonauts, not astronauts. This country was the first country from the Allied powers to enter Berlin at the end of the Second World War. I repeat, they were the first of the Allied powers in the Second World War to enter the city of Berlin. Rocky Balboa's opponent in Rocky IV was from this country. Rocky Balboa's opponent in Rocky IV was from this country. This country is famous for babushkas. You guys know what a babushka is? I should have brought one for the show today. It's like when you have a globe or a little doll or something, and you take one out and there's a smaller one inside, and you take it out and there's a smaller one, and you take it out and there's a smaller one, and so on and so forth. They're called babushkas, and they come from this country. This country is also famous for Kalashnikov assault rifles, okay? This country is also famous for producing very famous scientists and chemists, but without any further ado, I'm not going to tell you what the country is. You have to check out this report.
My name is Ayrat Aymetov and I'm from Russia. After 8 years of atheism, we're making progress. We hope that we're getting better every year. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us steadfast on that way and give us strength.
Well, first of all, we want to give a very special thanks to the people that filmed that video for us in Russia, Brother Ayrat and Fatih Habib. We want to thank them both. I apologize for mispronouncing your name, but really, mashallah, brothers, it was a wonderful video, and it really illustrates Ramadan in Russia. And really, I'm so happy we did this program because it shows you how beautiful Islam makes every single country around the world, not just one country in one place in one time, but all around the world and throughout time. Islam has beautified all these beautiful nations, and this episode is no different. It really was actually beautiful to see this beautiful, clean masjid with snow around it and interesting and different looking people from all around the world. So it really shows the cultural diversity of Islam, which is something that's very beautiful, and we're very proud to be Muslim. I'm so happy. I've always was proud to be Muslim, but in this program, this Ramadan Pulse program has really highlighted this feeling. I hope it has for you guys too at home. You guys, Russia is such a big country. Of course, we're talking about Russia. It's the biggest country in the world, even after the breakup of the Soviet Union. And of course, after the breakup of the Soviet Union, many countries, Muslim countries, came to be apparent, like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. A lot of these countries in Central Asia that were under the fold of the USSR were now free. But it turned out there are many, many ethnicities inside Russia that are Muslim. And there are many, many Muslim people now inside Russia, Russians themselves, as we saw in this video. So that's interesting facts about Russia. We normally think of Muslims being from certain parts of the world, like the Middle East, for example. But no, of course, there's Muslims everywhere. And in fact, I read an interesting point that there are more Muslims, I believe, in Indonesia than all the Middle East. We have a very special guest. He's a host from a Russian television channel called TNV. That's the TNV channel. This brother's name is Ra'il Omodbaev, and I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name, brother. Assalamu alaikum, brother Ra'il, and thank you for joining us on our show.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
Good, brother. Can you pronounce your name for me correctly? I apologize for mispronouncing it.
No, it's okay. English-speaking people call me Rael, and my real name, the pronunciation is like Rail, so it's okay, no problem.
Oh, okay, brother. Actually, my only Russian word I can speak is Здравствуйте.
Yeah, it's in Russian, yeah.
And brother, to be honest with you, now I became a little bit confused, actually, because of what's going on in Russia. Can you give us some information about the various ethnic groups inside Russia and where the Muslims are concentrated?
As you know, Russia is like the biggest country in the world, and there are about 150 ethnic groups in Russia. And the largest Muslim majority, the largest Muslim minority is Tatars. I am myself a Tatar, there are about 7 million Tatar people in the world, and 5.5 million of them live in Russia. And as our president used to say a few years ago, I think there are about 20 million Muslims in Russia, and the whole population of the country is 140 million people. And there are two concentration centers of Muslim population in Russia, one being North Caucasus, such republics like Chechnya, Dagestan, and the other one is Middle Volga region, which is republics of Tatarstan and Bashkortostan. So I would say there are two centers of Muslim population in Russia. So North Caucasus and Middle Volga. Middle Volga region is about 800 kilometers to the east from Moscow. So that's basically how it is.
Okay, well, thank you. That was very informative, brother. Brother, it seems like the Russian Orthodox culture and the Muslim Russian culture it's so different, isn't it?
It is different, but scientists, historians say that Russia appeared from two big countries which used to exist in the Middle Ages. One is Kiev, Russia, which is an Orthodox country, and the other one is Golden Horde, which used to be primarily a Muslim country. It's very different, but at the same time we have our common history because we live side by side for about 500 years. I mean, Tatar people, they have been invaded by Russians about 500 years ago, and since then we all live in peace and tolerance. And for example, if you come to my city, which is the city of Kazan, the capital of Republic of Tatarstan, it's the third capital of Russia. Its brand logo, it's being called the third capital of Russia. You can see churches and mosques standing next to each other, and on one side of the street it is mosque, and on the other side it is church. So we all live in peace, and thank God it's okay.
Okay, brother, that's very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about where exactly you come from in this Tartar region in the city of Kazan? Tell us a little bit about the Islamic history there.
Tatar people adopted Islam back in the 10th century. It was the year of 922. Khalif came to the city of Bulgar. Bulgar is our ancient capital. So we adopted Islam 10 centuries ago, 1,000 years ago, and since then we have been Muslims. And of course, Islam affected our culture greatly and our history greatly. So as I said, there are about 7 million Tatars in the world. Only 300,000 of them, I think, are Christians. They adopted Christianity, Orthodox Christianity. So the rest, which is 6,700,000 people, they are Muslims. So our whole culture, it's based on Islam. I mean, we've been practicing Islam for 1,000 years now. And I think we are the most northern ethnic group, which is a Muslim ethnic group in the world. So our culture is an Islamic culture, and we've been practicing Islam for 10 centuries now.
MashaAllah, brother. What about linguistically? You speak Russian now as a second language and Tartar as a first language, or Russian as a first language? Can you clarify that for us?
Yeah, Russian is the state language throughout Russia. So if you live in Russia, you have to speak Russian, of course. And all of Tatar people, they speak Russian fluently because, as I said, we have been living with Russians for 500 years now, and Russian is like our mother tongue. But we do not forget our mother tongue, which is Tatar language. I cannot say that all Tatar people, they can speak Tatar language because some people are being assimilated by Russians. But the majority of Tatar people, they speak their own language, Tatar language. It's a Turkic language. It's pretty much similar to Turkish language, but we have our own differences. So Tatar people, the majority of Tatar people, they're bilingual from the birth. So they speak both Russian and Tatar language.
Okay.
Tatar language is a Turkic language. Russian is a Slavic language.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. If Tatar had a Turkish background, and apparently he does. Okay, brother, thank you for sharing that. That's very, very interesting. Brother, let us feel now Ramadan in your country, in your city. What are the fasting hours there? I think you're a bit north, so I think the day is very long.
Yes, I mean, we're both lucky and unlucky, if you can say like that. I mean, in winter, the days are very short. For example, we finish in the morning, we finish at about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. And then in the afternoon, we can start eating at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
So it's really short. Now, in summer, we have to finish eating at 2:30 in the morning, and we start eating at 9 o'clock in the evening. And it's not the longest days now. I mean, the longest day will be in 2 or 3 years, when it will be June. So now it's pretty hard, and the weather was pretty hot for a couple of weeks. It was like 35 degrees.
Oh.
The problem is not about the food. I mean, you don't get hungry primarily, but you get thirsty. You want to drink, but I think for about a week when you fast, then you get used to it, and you just, I mean, your whole body and your whole self just gets used to the Ramadan, and everything is okay. So I do not think that it's that difficult or that hard.
I noticed in some countries like Norway, people have fasted for almost 24 hours. What's the longest fasting day over there?
So let's say if we start at 2:30 and then we finish at, I think it's about 17 or 18 hours. I know that in St. Petersburg, there are Muslims there, of course. Their day is like about 20 hours.
Wow, that's awfully long. Brother, thank you for sharing that information with us. Now I want to ask you about the food that you guys eat there in Russia or Tatarstan. What kind of food are you guys eating in the morning to begin the fasting day? And what kind of food and drinks do you drink to break your fast?
Well, I would say that the most popular drink is just pure water. I mean, once you're done with fasting for 17 hours, you just want to drink a lot, so we start with water. And regarding food, basically it's a traditional Tatar cuisine, which includes some pastries, we have a lot of potatoes. I mean, we're big potato fans. We love potatoes. We eat potatoes. We love meat, beef, of course. Sometimes we do lamb, but only on big holidays. So basically, it's food with potatoes, maybe some pasta, and with beef. I would say like that.
Oh, actually, that sounds delicious. I think that's something that
Not
I
very
do at all.
spicy. It's not very hot. It's not very spicy. It's pretty much like it's not spicy.
Oh, okay, excellent, brother. Now tell me, what city exactly are you calling from now?
City of Kazan, Kazan. It's one of the biggest cities in Russia and the capital of the Republic of Tatarstan. And Republic of Tatarstan is inside of Russia. And some people call it the Muslim capital of Russia as well, because I think we have the biggest number of mosques than any other Russian city.
Yeah, of course, and just to put it in perspective, I mean, Russia is so big, if you look at the map, it's incredible, even after the breakup of the USSR. Brother, now we're in the last 10 days of Ramadan, so tell us about Iktikaf. Is this practiced in your country?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, brother. Thank you for sharing that information, first of all. I want to ask you now, we are in the last 10 days of the month of Ramadan. Do people usually attend the last 10 days, what they call Iktikaf, where they stay in the mosque? Do they practice this in your country?
As you know, I mean, USSR broke down like 20-something years ago, so the religion is still coming back to people. And I would say that maybe about 5% of whole Tatar population is very religious. So I would say that some of these people, they do that. I mean, they go to mosque for the last 10 days of Ramadan. There are people like that. We didn't have them back like maybe 5 or 6 or 10 years ago. There were none who was doing such stuff. But now young people who are learning religion, they start doing that. But the majority, they do fast and they just going like in the usual days of Ramadan. So I wouldn't say that many people go to mosque and stay there for the last 10 days. But some people, the tradition of going there just came back maybe 10 years ago. And I think that each year the number of people going to mosque for the last 10 days of Ramadan, it keeps increasing. But it's very low for the moment.
Brother, would you say that Islam is increasing in strength and in practice every year after the breakup of the USSR?
Yes, of course. Every year the number of the number of practicing, we call them practicing Muslims. The number of practicing Muslims does increase because people start to investigate their own culture, their own roots. They want to find out answers for such questions like, where do I come from? Why do I live? What's the purpose of me being on this earth? And they explore their religion, which is Islam in the first place, and they find a lot of answers there. And on the other hand, a lot of ethnic Russians who are Christian people, Orthodox Christian, the number of Russians adopting Islam increases every year as well. I mean, for example, my little brother, he married a Russian girl, but she adopted Islam because she found she found answers to her questions in Islam. So it's like two tendencies. Tatar people who are traditionally Muslims, they keep exploring their religion and they come back to their roots. And on the other hand, Russian people who are Christians, they adopt Islam because they also find their answers in Islam.
Brother, that's an amazing story about a Russian Orthodox girl, your sister-in-law essentially, becoming Muslim. Because, brother, I'm actually from a Greek background, and I know the Orthodox people, you don't hear about this very often, so that's really amazing. Although these days, alhamdulillah, you hear more and more and more Greeks and Russians becoming Muslim, so that truly is amazing. Brother, we've been through all around the world in this program. We've been to Denmark, to Bosnia, all these beautiful countries. But in comparison to Russia, they're very small. So can you tell us, if you boarded a plane in Kazan and you flew to Moscow, just to get an idea of how big Russia is, how many hours of a flight would that be?
Well, as I said, Kazan is it's pretty close to Moscow. It is only like 1 hour long flight, so it's not very long. I mean, but if you fly all across Russia, it will take 12 hours, and you will be flying across Russia because it's the biggest country in the world.
SubhanAllah, brother, that's so long. Brother, give me just a sec. I want you to stay on the line. I just want to take this phone call. We have a phone call. Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ramadan's Pulse.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, brother. Please give me your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, I'm Sikri calling from Nigeria.
Excellent. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Thank you. I'm sorry, brother. It seems like the line cut off. Please give us a call back. We have a couple more minutes before the show's over. Brother, I want to go back to Ra'il. Brother, you said it's a 12-hour flight from east to west. Is that right?
Yes, it's correct. I mean, if you fly from the east to the west, you will be flying like about 12 hours across Russia. Well, 10 to 12 hours, I believe.
And brother, it's amazing because as I'm also from the United States. Alaska used to be a part of Russia, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it was part of Russia until 19th century when Russian Tsar, he sold Alaska to the United States.
And if you can imagine, even in Northern California, there is Russian history there with Russian traders and outposts there. So imagine how big this country is. 12 hours from east to west, from the Americas, basically from Alaska all the way to Europe. So that is definitely huge. Brother, I want you to tell me about some of the other ethnic groups that are Muslims. We know the North Caucasus. Can you give us a list of the ethnicities of the North Caucasus?
So the list of Muslim ethnic groups in Russia are Tatars, Bashkirs, Chechen people, Dagestan people, Ingushi people, Karachay people, Cherkess people, Kabarda people, Balkar people, I think Adigay people as well. So these are the majority of the biggest Muslim ethnic groups. There are also a lot of Azerbaijani people living in Russia, a lot of Turkish people. They come to work here to our country, to Tatarstan specifically. A lot of Uzbek people living in Russia, Kazakh people, Kyrgyz people. So basically all Middle Asia and North Caucasus. I mean, that's the list of Muslim ethnic groups living in Russia.
Okay.
And Russia is their home.
This is like their belt. This is their area. Okay, brother. Thank you for that. Real quick, brother. We have about 30 seconds left. Just final question, brother. How is the working hours right now in your country in the month of Ramadan? Do they minimize the working hours to make the fasting easier, or do you still have to work a full day?
Oh no, the government is absolutely, it's not connected with religion, so it doesn't affect our working hours. I mean, usually it's from 9 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening, so our working schedule does not change at all.
Okay, brother. Do you find it hard to balance between your life in the media and your life as a practicing Muslim?
No, not at all, because I work on the Tatar television, and my channel and I myself produce programs for Tatar people, for Muslim people, so it's primarily like Tatar and Muslim connected content. So, I mean, I live a full life, and I absolutely love what I do, because I think that with my work, when I produce some programs and some reports about the life of Muslim people and Tatar people, I just, I add something to my culture, and I bring some good news and some necessary stuff to the viewers who watch our channel.
Brother, you're absolutely right, because just being on this program has really benefited me and hopefully all the viewers all around the world that showed them the beauty of your country. I certainly appreciate your time, brother. I want to have you back in the future, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. May Allah bless you. Thank you so much for your time. Brother Ra'il from TNV channel in the Republic of Tatarstan, Russia. I want to thank you guys for watching. Next episode is not going to be tomorrow. Actually, we're going to interrupt our regular scheduled programming because we have a very special program, Share the Reward 2. That's right, Share the Reward 2 tomorrow on Huda TV. You don't want to miss that. And the day after that, you guys were back here in Ramadan's Pulse. We're going to go to the best country in the world, really. These are the best people. They have the best manners. They have the best manners. They're the kindest people, the smartest people. Really, these people are the best people in the world. I think you know who I'm talking about. I'm related to these people somehow, so maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you don't want to miss the day after tomorrow, the best episode yet of Ramadan's Pulse, inshallah. It's all Greek to me. That's all I'm going to say. So until next time, I leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We'll talk about Huda. We'll talk about our way. Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home. We'll talk about Huda. We'll talk about our way. Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in